Hello, my name is Shio from Class AK, and this is my presentation about Thorns, an all-time all-rounder. Who is this man anyways? Thorns is a 6-star Lord Guard that can have marksman sniper range, dishing out consistent DPS, all while keeping himself alive, albeit with some caveats, as he requires both downtime and uptime, because it takes a minute to get it up. But before we get to that, Thorns unfortunately suffers from what I call S3 syndrome, in that he really needs his Elite 2 to unlock skill 3, which is basically his sole use case. S1 is generically useful and S2 can have times to shine, but if you want to use Thorns, you want his Destreza. This has implications both as a new player still building a roster and in integrated strategies, aka the roguelite mode, where he is recruited at Elite 1. With that in mind, let's talk about the supreme arts of Iberia, Thorns' S3, Destreza. What it do? First off, it extends its range from the slightly suspicious Lord Guard range to the Marksman Sniper range, a 4x3 rectangle. Then, the standard Lord Guard range attack damage reduction is removed, alongside an attack and attack speed boost. Things go crazy once you activate the skill for a second time. The skill becomes permanently active and all those bonuses are doubled. At maximum mastery, this more than doubles his attack stat, with a plus 120% attack boost. It's also offensive recovery, which means only one thing: he needs prep time. Iberian Batman over here needs 15 normal attacks, 30 seconds of the first skill activation, 15 more normal attacks, and then he becomes the AFK solo lane holder he was meant to be. This leads to team synergy and strategy selection. Ideally, there's a slow trickle of early enemies for him to farm SB off of, and so keeping them alive as you generate TP is preferred, meaning pioneers and flag bearers over agents and chargers. And of course, various sources of SP such as Liscam or Warfarin are also very helpful. Just take your pick. All that, and we've only talked about his S3. Let's round it out with his 2 talents that let him do 2 other things. Nerve Corrosion applies an arts damage over time, which allows him to deal with defense-focused enemies a little bit. Not as much as a full arts damage operator, but enough for medium-high defense enemies. Also, it stinks harder on ranged enemies, because screw those guys. Echoes of Ancestral Waves lets him recover a percentage of his health every second if he has at least 2 seconds of downtime. Theoretically, this lets him top up his health all the way to full when he's damaged, as long as there's a gap in the enemy timings. This is what makes him a good solo lane holder in those maps that has that downtime. So with all that combined, like the Voltron pieces of a Magic the Gathering deck, what does Thorns using his S3 provide? Constant, high-range DPS hitting both rest and def enemies, anti-air from the ground, health regeneration for solo lane holding, and one of the most long-running memes in the Arknights fandom. If you know, you know, and if you don't, I'll tell you when you're older. My conclusion is that Thorns is basically a Swiss Army knife, an entirely self-sufficient one that will cover a lot of bases as long as you give him the time to set up. And then you can leave him alone like the potatoes I put in the air fryer. And you should try him out! Any questions will be answered in the comment section, and see you next class! Video's over now, but just here for a moment to tell you that we're now monetized via donations. Super thanks are available down below if you want to help me out economically, and even if you don't, thanks for watching and see you next time.